Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello. Hey, today we have on a friend, Robert Casteel. His wife was on last week, so excited to have Robert on here as well. Robert is a neurotransformational coach. He's been involved with everybody from watching Tony Robbins and part of those programs. We met with Steve Linder with neurolinguistic programming. Spent a little bit of time with that, so that was fantastic. So welcome. Glad to have you on, Robert. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, it's my honor to be on. Thank you very much. So I spent quite a while in the military. I was actually born and raised in Georgia. Believe it or not, I'm actually a Georgia boy. So, and then after I retired out of the military, I came back. So, almost 24 years in the Army. I went from private all the way to first sergeant, and I retired as a first sergeant. I got 3 combat tours, 2 in Iraq, and the third one was in Iraq also, but it was Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So a lot of people get confused, and I've spent since.
Robert, if I can you explain what people get confused about real quick?
Yep.
As far as the difference between the tours. So
Desert Shield, Desert Storm was the defense of Saudi Arabia and the freedom of Kuwait. I was on the western side, so I came up into Iraq and never even seen Kuwait in 91. Iraqi freedom was when we freed Iraq from Saddam Hussein. So I got 2 tours in Iraq during Iraqi freedom. So 2 different groups, 2 different concepts of battle at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The difference in the battle is we had a lot more insurgency that we had to fight against in the 2003 war until Iraq ended. So big difference. Dealing with the PTSD from both is similar. So, and the battles are different.
Yeah.
Desert Shield, Desert Storm, the battles were further off. It wasn't as close combat. Iraqi freedom, it was up close and personal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for explaining it. And honestly, and truthfully, from my heart, man, thank you for doing what you did. Truly. If you will, I know you served for again 23 plus years, 24 years, and now that you've come out and you're retired. You are working with coaching with veterans. I know you're passionate, just as I am, about that. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you switched from being, military to going into what you're doing now, and why, even more importantly, if you will.
So I came out of the military because my daughter asked me to come home. I hadn't seen her in almost 2 years. So she asked me to come home. I chose to get out at that time.
Sounds like a great reason, Robert.
It was an awesome reason. I probably would not be married to my wife today if I hadn't got out when I did. And she had not asked me. It was a tough decision because I knew walking away from the military, not only was I leaving a career that I've been doing for 23 years, I was also leaving a family. Because in those units, you build such a tight bond, and you see a lot of the same folks, especially being a combat engineer like I was. We had a small force, so I would see a lot of the guys over and over again. So that made it really challenging to make that decision. I made that decision, walked away. I went from making 60 some odd $1,000 a year with all my benefits and everything like that to making $23,000 a year. So there was a huge pay gap when I got out. Even when I got a job, which was challenging for me when I got out, I was homeless. I was living on my sister's couch when I got out of the military. So technically I was homeless. I had no home to go to. And I finally found a job. It still didn't make up the gap difference. So I was still struggling financially. I just kept battling on through it. So losing that family of the military and the soldiers I worked with, horsed around with, took care of was a huge loss. And when I got out in 2008, I was lost.
Yeah, and I hear this a lot. I mean, I think we all do. Anybody that works with veterans and so on. I mean, this is one of the how do I say this? One of the biggest losses is that camaraderie and that family, that true family, especially 23 years. I mean, that isn't just replaced, and it's super important. And I'm sure you'll attest to this, especially how important it is to find and rebuild that family, if you will, so that you're not alone. You have that support. For veterans, it is one of the most important things I've found is making sure you have that support system. Even if you can have it ready before you leave service, have it, because it just makes things a little bit better to be able to have those people to connect with and talk to.
Yeah, take the time for the veterans. You have a transition period of 12 months. Take that time, and that 12 months, start exploring different options for yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't get the 12 months. I got like 3 months. Long story behind that one, but yeah. So, talking about when you get out, you have that inner core of people that you can reach out and touch. And when I got out, that inner core kind of like dissolved, because usually once you leave, even in the fire service, because I was a firefighter for a while, when you leave that group, they kind of pop to the outer levels, and you don't have as much interaction with them. So it's all the levels of people you have in your inner core, then your outer core, and then even people you just communicate with every once in a while. So, and it's losing that inner core. And I was very protective of my inner core, still am. Mm-hmm. If I don't see you being beneficial to me and I can't be beneficial to you, you don't get to play in my inner core.
Right.
Of friends.
Right. So let's, if we can, as far as what okay, so I'm going to jump back again one step. So, and your amazing wife was just on here commenting a second ago. Glad to see her. Hi, Kathy. So when you got out and you're homeless, and what made that change for you? And this is what I find super valuable to get you to move forward, because you have veterans that move forward in life and you have veterans that don't. So what was that aha moment, that the thing that happened to you to create leverage, or whatever word you want to use for you, to get you to say, you know what, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to persevere.
Originally, it was my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want her to grow up in the same lifestyle that I grew up in. I had a very angry father that was very abusive, both physically and psychologically. I was not going to allow that to be into her life. And then I met Kathy, and Kathy helped me in that transition. She started opening me up to more and more things. Because I mean, basically my life was, I'd come home from work, get up the next morning, go home to work. I wasn't working out. I was drinking a little bit, but not that much. I'm still not a big drinker. But I was still drinking and going on fire calls. because I was a volunteer firefighter in the county I was in. And becoming a volunteer firefighter also helped me transition because I was giving to others.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that and start reconnecting with folks that had a common theme.
Amen.
Just wanted to give back.
That's fantastic. So it was, and again, I think as human beings, I don't care if you're military or first responder or, someone that cleans toilets for a living. I think we start to die inside unless we find a purpose, right? Literally helping other people changes the game, man, for life. So I'm so glad you said that. Tell me more about that, if you will.
So I did some things in combat that I wasn't very happy that I did, and I impacted other people's lives. So I was like, I got to give back to other people. I got to help other people in order to try to forgive myself for what I did in combat. Not understanding everything I was doing in combat, I had to do something to give back to others, to preserve life, to help grow life. And it was challenging. And being a firefighter and going into that realm, I had to deal with a lot of destruction also, because we drive vehicles faster than we should be, or we do things like riding around without seatbelts, things like that. So helping people on their worst day to grow better and to become better and to continue to grow.
Fantastic.
It's one of the things that led me to Team Rubicon also, because we do go see people on their worst day and we help them to turn their lives around and to get better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Team Rubicon is amazing. So thank you for what you do there as well. So so you found a purpose, and of course your amazing wife, and all of these great things are happening for you. So now that you're there, what made you decide to start coaching and start helping people and changing people's lives that way? Like I know you do.
So it wasn't until I went to a Tony Robbins event, 2014, I think, or 13, can't remember the year, but went to Tony Robbins event, UPW. And I was like, I can help more people understand what's going on, especially veterans, what's going on, that they put on so many masks growing up. They put on so many masks while they was in the military, and they don't know who they truly are at their core anymore. And so I started down that route, and then Kathy actually started coaching before I did. And then I was asked to do something in a job that wasn't, that went against my values. And I walked away from the job. I was like, I'm done. I resigned. And I walked away.
Wow.
And Kathy's like, you could probably coach people. So I started with a guy named Sean Smith, who started training me how to be a coach. And now I'm one of his master coaches.
Fantastic. Truly. So glad you're out there doing what you're doing, my friend. It's so important. So thank you. So I want to talk to you a little bit about find yourself, forgive yourself, and free yourself.
Okay.
So why don't we start with, give me a generalization, and then let's dive in a little bit if you're game, because I'm excited to hear about this.
So find yourself. Who are you? Who are you at your core? You're still a soldier no matter what. That'll always be part of your identity. However, who are you without relying on that soldier? What can you do to find who you are? You can do that through meditation. You can do that through experiences like UPW, through Tony Robbins, through Steve Linder, some of his trainings. Just start developing who you are. In the Army, I was trained to understand combat, understand leaders of previous combat, and follow those leaders. So I knew that. before I got out of the military, I never heard of Tony Robbins. Didn't even know who the dude was until a friend of mine says, "Hey, I work for Tony Robbins. Why don't you go to one of his events?" And I'm like, "Who's that?" One of the biggest guys on earth. I had no clue who he was because I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
So you got to find who you are at the core. Who do you want to be? And develop that. Who do you want to be?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because if you don't know that, you're not anywhere to start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you start identifying that, you've done some things in your past that you're more likely not very proud of. You were asked to do stuff for the military that a normal human being would not be asked to do on a daily basis. So you got to forgive yourself for things you did. You was asked to do them. You did them for the defense of your country, and you did it to protect your battle buddies out there and to protect them.
If you don't do these things, people get hurt, people die.
Yeah, if you're not out there protecting your battle buddies, then you're going to get killed, or they're going to get killed.
Absolutely.
And then you got to live with that. And sometimes, no matter how much you fight to protect your battle buddies, sometimes their number is up and it's their day. And you can't go back. The enemy killed the soldier once. Every day after that, you re-traumatize your own self for that death.
Yes.
And how are you honoring that individual by re-traumatizing and not moving forward and forgiving yourself for that death?
That's a beautiful way to look at it, for sure. And that's the reality.
Exactly.
That's literally the reality. Excellent point.
And then free yourself. Learn from the past. Take everything from your past and look at it as a lesson. Because without that past, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Amen.
If you live in the past, you're not who you're supposed to be. What God designed you to be, it's not going to be if you keep living in the past. Learn from the past. Free yourself from your past. Say, that is my past. These are the lessons I learned. How can I do it better if it ever happens again?
I love that. And Robert, for me, I teach my clients, and everything I teach my clients, I do myself. I don't teach theory, and for me, it's that person or myself. I was doing the best I could for who I was, where I was. And I believe that. And that's how I've found is a great way to forgive yourself and others. Doesn't mean you're forgiving the act necessarily, but I think it's important for us to, because if you don't move forward, you're stuck. You're looking in the rearview mirror and you're going to crash, right? Exactly. So I think it's super important to do that, just like you're saying. So thank you for bringing that up. And really, if you don't forgive yourself, and the next thing you said was amazing, learn from it. Because if you don't learn from it, it's a waste.
Exactly.
It's an absolute waste. So great information.
Think about this. Think about driving your car down the road. If you're looking in that rearview mirror because that's where you were, that's your past, you're going to crash into whatever's in front of you. Mm-hmm. So drive your life just like you drive your automobile looking forward.
Absolutely. So, yeah, because like you said, you're definitely going to crash. And if you're not looking forward, what are you missing? That's going by you. What opportunities, what things in life are just flying right by you that you were just missing because you're so worried about that stuff in the past. So, amen. I love it. So is there more as far as finding yourself, forgiving yourself, or freeing yourself, of course, that you want to go into?
One of the things I'll go into is don't be so driven to accomplish a goal that you don't take time to enjoy and have joy in the life that you're living. In other words, take time, smell the roses.
Yeah, be present for sure.
And don't rely necessarily on the goal. Rely on the system. Build the system so that you are better, because you're going to hit a goal. And if you build a big enough and a strong enough system, you're going to surpass that goal many times over. But it's just like I was listening to an audio today that said, rely on the system. Someone running a 100-yard dash, which one's better? The one that's got the goal of winning the race, or the one that built the system and prepared to win the race?
Mm.
And the person that built the system and prepared themselves surpasses that goal of winning a race.
Absolutely. And I think what you find as well is when you want the car, you want the $1 million, you want whatever, what your want is, and you go and you get it. And it's like, all right, sweet. I did it. Life's great. Fantastic. And then it's, okay, now what? And you have that little bit of that letdown. If you don't know the system to continue that progress and moving forward.
Yeah. What is going to be your impact in the world? What legacy are you going to leave in this world? Money goes away, and big buildings, they fall down. It don't take much to take a building down. Houses the same way. One storm, one big fire, and the house is gone. But what legacy are you building? What are you leaving for the generation behind you that can continue to build? And who are you bringing with you?
It's fantastic. So what is the legacy that Robert is building? I'm going deep here, man. I'm throwing you under the bus here. I'm just winging this. You know that. The whole show's about that.
Oh,
but that's how you have those great conversations.
That Robert did everything within his power to help as many people as possible to be better by themselves, to teach them how to grow their fields instead of taking and giving it to them, and helping them to continue to grow after showing them, hey, let's plant this corn, let's grow this, and then let's build another field, and let's go join some more people, and just helping people. I want to impact people by showing that we don't have to run around this earth and just completely screw everybody else over.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And how good does it feel just to go through and help? Just, for me, just helping one person is the best feeling out there. To know that you made a difference. And that could be a conversation at Walmart. I mean, I'm going simple here, but I'm not even talking about necessarily coaching, but just taking the time to be present, like you said earlier, and having a conversation with one person that changed their day, their mood, their week, who knows? But it's impactful to know that simple conversations can change a person's day, a life for that matter. I'm sure you could go back in your life and think about simple conversations or simple things that changed for you, from when you were 20 to now.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's amazing how when we take the time and, like you're saying before, be present, smell the roses, simple, just conversations, a hug, a thought that someone says, that's a great idea. Robert, you should be a coach.
Yeah.
How it changes.
It does. I have this thing I do is when I'm running on the Greenway, because I run 3 days a week, and I'll root. If I see a runner coming, I'll tell him, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Nice.
And I'll walk into the store and I'll see somebody that they might be walking down, looking at the ground or something. I'd ask them how they're doing. And I've had people stop me like, you really want to know what I'm doing? How I'm doing? I said, yeah. Let me know how you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'll take the time and I'll stop and listen to them, because I might be the only person that day that asked them that question.
Yes. And what's the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is to feel seen, right? To know I'm important, I matter for most people, most human beings. So, something just happened recently with my wife. We were somewhere, and there's this person that just always kind of seemed down and off and not connected and kind of doing his own thing. And I just took a couple of minutes and just changed his state with conversation of, hey, I see you. And I didn't say this, but just having that conversation literally changed his day and changed mine. I mean, I felt good because I made his day better. And you could just literally see a personality switch in him instantly. And it held. I mean, the entire time we were in that office, you saw a difference in the person. He was bubblier, he was happier, he was just a different person. So, everybody take the time, talk to vets, talk to your family. Just, don't just send a text, pick up a phone and actually call somebody, or go to dinner or something like that, because just a simple conversation and just people being seen makes a difference.
It's a huge difference. Some of the fire calls I went on were for elderly who were living alone, and no one asked them how they was doing in a while. It's like, hey, how you doing? We'll have a conversation with them, and then treated whatever needed to be treated. A lot of times it was they just needed the conversation to know that they're seen and they matter in this world still.
Absolutely. So super important. Well, Robert, we're getting kind of towards the end. I'm going to throw you under the bus with something else here. So
Okay.
We'll do this to everybody. 3 tips for veterans to help them move further faster during transition or after the fact.
So identify who you are. Love yourself. Even if it's the darkest place in the world, love who you are at that moment. Because you have to love yourself in order to move forward. Spread that love. Give people joy. And develop yourself on who you want to be for the future. You want a new career, go out and identify what that new career is and go for it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen, you're going to fall down. Guess what? It ain't over until you don't get off that mat.
That's it.
So you can fall down 1,000 times, get up 1,001, and just keep going.
Love it. Absolutely. Because you don't lose till you quit, right?
Exactly.
Amen. So just get up one more time.
Yep.
Get up one more time. Get up one more time.
And sometimes that little spur you take might not be the right path. You might get guided back the other way.
Love it, man. I absolutely love it. Hey, Robert, somebody wants to reach out to you. How do they get a hold of you?
So you can send me an email at robert@msmcoachinggroup.com, or you can call me.
Excellent.
That sounds great. And I'll give you my phone number. I don't care if it's out there. I get a million calls anyways. So it's 78207-6968. Call me. We'll have a conversation.
Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, Robert, you've been absolutely amazing, dude. I got to tell you, this has been a great conversation for me. So thank you, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I'm honored you're here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for everything that you and that amazing wife of yours do. It is so appreciated. So I just want to end out here with, most precious resource us as humans have is time. But we don't get that back ever. So I just wanted to thank you for spending this 30 minutes with me, our listeners, and just so they feel seen. The conversations need to get out there. So thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you. It's my honor to be here. Thanks for what you do, Michael.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.